Track 3, Unit 4, Exercise 4. You will hear a zookeeper called Helena Tompkins talking about her work. For questions 1 to 10, complete the sentences with a word or short phrase. You now have 45 seconds to look at the questions.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me here to talk to you today. I've wanted to work with animals ever since I was 4 or 5 years old. What really interested me was not looking after cats or dogs like other children, but lying in the long grass watching insects. That interest in nature stayed with me throughout my childhood, and when fairly young, I decided to become a zookeeper. In order to achieve my aim, I had to work hard to get into university. I did biology, though for my job you can do a variety of different degrees as long as they have some connection with animals. Things like zoology, obviously, and psychology and animal science are fine too. When you're appointed as a zookeeper, you generally work with just one species of animal. I worked with the sea lions for a couple of years, but for the last few months I've been in charge of the pandas, which is particularly exciting as they're an endangered species and we have a special breeding program in place. There are some downsides to being a zookeeper. We sometimes have to work quite long hours, sometimes all night, especially in the hospital when an animal's sick. But I don't really mind that as it's part of the job. What does get me, however, is the rain. It's quite hard to make yourself go outside when it's wet. Even the animals don't like it. My typical day usually starts around 7 o'clock. I guess the main task I have in the morning is getting the food ready. I don't clean out the enclosures. Someone else is responsible for that. Then in the afternoon, I write up health reports or assist with any medical procedures. On Saturdays and Wednesdays, I also do talks, but that's only in the summer when we have a lot of visitors. In the winter, it's obviously much quieter, and I can get more involved in research projects. The animals I look after can be dangerous, so you need to take care when you're around them. Early on in my career, a monkey bit my finger, but I only needed a few stitches. Someone else I worked with had his arm bitten by a tiger, so I've been lucky. That sort of thing doesn't happen very often, though, I'm pleased to say. I don't have to carry a stick or anything to protect myself, but what you do have to have with you is a radio, and if we get on that, someone will come running immediately. It's always good to know that there are other people around to give you a hand if things get difficult with an animal. The visitors are usually great, especially the children. The people who do irritate me, though, are sometimes the teachers who bring their class to the zoo. They often don't spend enough time talking to their pupils, explaining about each animal. I think they see it as a day out, really. It's a pity, as it's a missed opportunity, I always think. As to the future, you do get attached to the animals you're looking after, so it would be hard for me to leave them at the moment. However, there are a couple of things I might do in the future. I've been offered the chance to go to China next spring to see how my animals behave in the wild. There's also a possibility of going to the USA to work on a breeding project, but that's not going to happen for a few years yet. I do hope what I've told you has given you some insight into what I do. I can definitely recommend being a zookeeper.